continue with economics. AS, still on economic growth and GDP. So we're going to purchasing power parities. When we talk about purchasing power parities, it's simply talking about how we are able to measure through the exchange rate of our country. So the currency, how we're able to use the currency of one country, a certain value of that currency to in what we can buy without value, without currency, like maybe the dinars, the value of the dinars in dollars, what it can buy in America and what it can buy over here in Libya. So that is what purchasing power parity is about. So I'm going to read further anyway. For purchasing power parities, I wrote, it is the rate at which the currency of one country would have to be converted into that of another country to buy the same amount of goods or services in each country. So it simply compares different countries' currency through a basket of goods. So in terms of what we can buy here, or we can buy 5 pence for $5 or 5 dinars here. So what's the rate of 5 dinars in America? Well, how many pence would 5 dinars buy in terms of dollars? That is purchasing power parities. So most of the time, economists, they use it to compare productivity and the standard of living. That's what we use purchasing power parity for. Are you getting it, please?
Yes.
So yeah, in the second paragraph, it simply compares different countries' currency through a basket of goods approach. It also allows economists to compare economic productivity and standards of living between countries. So it also tells us how much we can spend in this country compared to other countries. So because it's about consumption, so that's why we use purchasing power parities. So we go to indicators now. That's about purchasing power parities. You just want to know the exchange rate of this country compared to other countries and what can it buy. So what is the value of dollars to dinars? $1 to 1 dinar. So what can 1 dinar buy here, and what can the value of 1 dinar in dollars buy over there? That is purchasing power parity. Do you get it?
Yes.
So that might allow us to know the living standard in Libya compared to the living standard in America, or the living standard in Libya compared to the living standard in other countries. Clear?
Yes.
So that takes us to indicators of national happiness and well-being. One, when we have to measure the well-being of a country, we can use it through the national income, which means we can use the GDP per capita to measure, which is the GDP divided by the total number of population. So here I wrote, the national income is, okay, here. So indicators of national happiness and well-being. The national income is often used as a substitute measure of economic welfare. And when we talk about economic welfare, it's still the same as the standard of living. Are you with me?
Yes.
So not forgetting that GDP per capita may be used with other indicators such as the average household income and the average household incomes, or household disposable income, or the quality of housing to decide the living standard. So not only GDP per capita that we can use to measure the living standard, we can also measure it with the quality of life people live and the amount they are able to their level of disposable income. And you know what disposable income is?
Yes.
The amount of money you can either save or spend. So these are indicators of the well-being of people. So how much do they have to spend, or how much do they have to keep? And what is the quality of the house they are staying at? Are you with me, please?
I am.
So that's about that. Then income. Income is always used as a measure of happiness. Now we go to happiness. Now you know what happiness is. It's a state of mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we can use income to measure the state of people's mind. That is the point there. So income is always used as a measure of happiness. The higher the income, the happier the individual. So it's saying that there's correlation between income and happiness. That's the point. So it is stated that the higher the income, the more the happiness of an individual. However, there are other factors that contribute to the standard of living, of individuals aside income and GDP. For example, the quality of environment we stay can also determine how happy we are. The quality of environment, the quality of jobs, the kind of job people do, access to education, crime statistics. Do we have more crime here or not? So health, life expectancy is also part of it. And long-term unemployment levels. How is it long-term unemployment in a country? How is the rate of unemployment in one country compared to another? So these are also factors that we can put into consideration when we want to determine the well-being or the standard of living of individuals and how happy they could become. How happier they could become. Are you getting it, please? So now that takes us to real incomes and subjective happiness. So because we already stated that income determines happiness, right? So let's see how income is being subjective to happiness. So it is important to find the correlation between relative income and happiness. So I wrote, there are two suggested, I summarized anyway. So for me, there are two suggested explanations to why income might be a reason for happiness. The first one, income can be seen as a symbol of social status. So the amount of money you earn can be a symbol can be a symbol that you can use to decide, or can use as an identity to know where you are or where you belong in the society. When you are a low income, status. When you are a low income earner, that means you are a working class. When you are a high income earner, you can be in the middle class or the upper class. So with the level of your income, it can decide the class you belong to in the society. And because you know the class you belong to in the society, that might make you to be more happier than others. So here I wrote, income can be seen as a symbol of social status. People are more happier if they feel that they have more status than another, because it's a competitive behavior. Like, oh, I am bigger and better than that individual based on what I earn. Oh, she is bigger or better than that individual based on what he or she earns. So it's a competitive behavior, and because of that competitive behavior, it puts you in a state of mind that is more of happiness. Do you understand? So income, based on the fact that it can be used to decide your status, can give you an edge over others, and that might make you to be happy. So that is the correlation between income and happiness. Do you understand here?
Yeah, I do.
So here it simply talks about income determining your status, and your status giving you that edge over others and makes you to be happy than others. That's the first point. The second one, those on above average income tends to be happier than those on below average income. Why do we talk about above average and below average? So if you are above average, if you are earning above average income, you have access to education, you have access to better quality housing, you have access to a better quality health care, which allows you to even live, more, or to have a better, a longer life expectancy than others. So here I wrote, those on above income average tends to be happier based on the following reasons. One, they enjoy better health and live longer because they have access to, they have income that can allow them to enjoy a better health care. So whatever health issues they have, money can solve it for them. As a result of that, they might feel happy. As a result of that too, they have more control over their environment. Because they have income, their income level is high. So they can decide whatever happens within their social environment. So if they feel like, oh, they need to fence their house, that will give them happiness. They have the financial capability to do it. So what it's simply saying is that whatever government cannot give to them, they can as well find it, or they can as well get it to themselves. So that means they can still decide whatever happens around them, and that might give them a state of mind, which brings about happiness. Do you get the second point there?
Yes, sir.
And the last point is that they are likely to be unemployed. They are less likely to be unemployed because they are above average income earner. So it means when you look at them, they are middle class. They are middle class and upper class people. They have skills, they have expertise, they are experienced. So they can actually the demand for their skills will always be needed. Do you understand?
Yes.
So they don't need to look for jobs before they get jobs. Do you understand?
Yes.
So they are less likely to be unemployed based on the fact that they are rich, they have skills, they have experience, they have expertise. So the demand for their skills will always be needed, unlike low income earners, that their livelihood depends on their employers. But for middle income earners who are upper class people, their livelihood does not depend on their employers. They have other side ways of getting income. Do you understand? So that makes them not to be unemployed. And when you know that you have your future lies in your hand, it can give you that state of happiness. Do you understand? So that's the correlation between happiness and income. Any question about it?
No.
So that ends chapter 22. So we have the exam practice question immediately.